Mic check. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How is everybody doing? Are all of you feeling well? Let me hear some noise if you're having a good time. Awesome, 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 awesome. That means our check will mature. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise for a beautiful lady who's going to set the mood, because I know you guys are about to have such an insightful conversation. The name is Chitakwa, ladies and gentlemen. Some commotion for Chitakwa.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Kaya belu
Another warm round of applause for the Engage Band. Tonight is a night of celebration. So we will sing, we will dance, and we will listen to music. Bonsoir, mesdames et messieurs.
Good evening, everyone. Like the English speakers don't give that much of a... I'm sort of disappointed. Good evening, everyone. Awesome. Welcome to this session of Aspiration, and we look forward to this evening. So I'll tell you something about Engage. Engage is a storytelling. We're more than just a storytelling platform, but we are best known for a storytelling platform that's turning 10. We started this 10 years ago just to give everyday people an opportunity to tell their stories. And we discovered that inherently in every human being is this urge to tell a story. And stories are powerful because stories transform, stories heal, stories do that which a lot of other things cannot. So welcome to this session. We're going to listen to some fantastic stories and some fantastic music. And we hope you'll enjoy. Agatha.
We don't hope you will enjoy. We can guarantee you will enjoy. If you don't enjoy, you are the problem. So the One Planet Fellowship, this carpet looks so nice. You can see how Don and I are hesitating to step on it. It looks beautiful. So the One Planet Fellowship is coming to the end of season 1. And as we look forward to many more seasons, we want to celebrate the impact it has had, the people who have been through it, and the reflections of the journeys that have been made. You've been listening to speeches all morning, so no speeches right now. We will get right into the storytelling, and I will leave the stage to Dawn.
Thank you very much. So where's the origin of jollof rice? So what did I hear? I had Senegal, Ghana. Where else? So how many think it is Ghana? No votes for Ghana? Nigeria? Okay, there's a vote here. Nigeria? Kenya? Is that because you're Kenyan or you really think jollof rice is from here? We are sure it is not from here. So there's a lot of debate about where jollof rice is from, but our first speaker this evening believes that jollof rice is from Senegal. She is fantastic in everything that she does, but more important than that, she's a fantastic human being. Ladies and gentlemen, give a warm award welcome to Emmy Bodien.
Levez la main avec moi si vous aimez le bonheur. Levez la main avec moi et dites oui si vous croyez à la recherche. Oui. Vous savez sans doute que la recherche demande beaucoup de sacrifices, beaucoup de déplacements, surtout pour une femme alliée vie professionnelle et vie conjugale. Avoir un époux, une belle famille, des grossesses, des enfants. Peut-être que ces sacrifices pourraient avoir un impact négatif sur la vie professionnelle de la femme. Peut-être que beaucoup de femmes se sont retrouvées avec des coépouses parce qu'elles n'étaient presque jamais à la maison. Peut-être que certaines femmes ont abandonné leur ambition par peur de faire face à ces réalités. Mais alors imaginez que la femme ait une famille, un époux, une belle famille, qui la comprenne, qui l'encourage et qui la soutienne dans son travail. Imaginez que cette femme soit épanoui et qui puisse mener convenablement ses activités professionnelles. Imaginez l'impact de ces travaux sur sa communauté. Imaginez encore l'ampleur de cet impact, surtout si on sait qu'au Sénégal, les femmes représentent plus de la moitié de la population. Bonsoir tout le monde. Je suis Ami Bodian, je suis chercheur à l'Institut sénégalais de recherche agricole et je suis généticienne de formation. Je travaille sur la gestion de la biodiversité. Je coordonne des projets de recherche, j'encadre des étudiants, je fais des publications scientifiques. Cependant, ma vie ne commence pas là, car faire la recherche n'a pas été mon premier choix, ni même le second. En effet, ma vie a commencé au Sénégal, dans une région située au sud du pays appelée la Casamance. La région naturelle de la Casamance fait partie des régions les plus pluvieuses au Sénégal et la nature y est généreuse. Donc j'ai grandi dans plusieurs localités de cette région. Et pendant les vacances, je partais parfois dans mon village d'origine, chez ma grand-mère, où je travaillais dans les rizières et les champs. Mais travailler dans l'agriculture après mes études ne m'avait jamais traversé l'esprit. Parfois, je passais mes vacances à Dakar, la capitale sénégalaise, chez mon père, qui habitait un quartier de Ouakam appelé Cité Avion. Cette cité était proche de l'aéroport. Et le bruit des avions se faisait entendre 24 heures sur 24. Et là, très tôt, j'ai voulu être dans ces avions. Non pas comme passagère, mais comme pilote d'avion. Et oui, je voulais devenir pilote d'avion. Cependant, mon entourage ne croyait pas du tout à mon rêve. Et à chaque fois à l'école, partout, quand on me demandait « Ami, qu'est-ce que tu voudrais devenir quand tu seras grande ?» Et je répondais joyeusement « Pilote d'avion ». La réponse était toujours la même. « Ah bon? Tu as une fois vu une femme pilote d'avion au Sénégal? » Une fois, deux fois, trois fois, N fois, j'ai commencé à me décourager peu à peu. Et j'ai vu mon rêve se briser. J'ai eu un deuxième choix. J'ai dit, je vais être pharmacienne. Après le baccalauréat, j'ai demandé, on ne m'a pas été orientée. Grande fut encore ma déception. Et on m'a orientée en sciences naturelles. J'ai commencé à faire les sciences naturelles. Mais quelques années plus tard, j'ai commencé à prendre goût à la biologie végétale. Et là, je me suis lancée comme défi d'aller décrocher le dernier diplôme, qui est le doctorat, pour prouver à mon entourage que, en tant que femme, je suis capable d'aller aussi loin dans les études que les hommes. Car mon papa avait 2 filles, je suis la deuxième. Je n'ai eu mon premier petit frère qu'après 15 ans. Elle a des filles et les gens ne croyaient pas à la des filles. Donc, je suis allée chercher ce diplôme pour leur prouver que je suis capable. Et c'est durant mes travaux de master et de doctorat que je me suis rendu compte de l'effet réel du changement climatique sur la communauté. Et là, je me suis posé la question de savoir, moi, je pourrais faire pour aider ma communauté à faire face à ces effets du changement climatique. C'est tout l'objet de mes travaux de recherche. Vous savez que les effets du changement climatique affectent négativement la biodiversité et les productions agricoles. Dans mon projet de recherche, moi, je m'intéresse particulièrement au niébé. Et pourquoi le niébé? Le niébé est une légumineuse d'une importance capitale qui sert à nourrir des millions d'habitants en Afrique subsaharienne. Elle sert également à nourrir les batailles, car c'est riche en vitamines, en minéraux, en fer, en protéines, et est ainsi appelée la viande du pauvre. Le niébé arrive à maturité en moins de 2 mois avant toutes les autres cultures et constitue ainsi un aliment de soudure important en milieu rural, surtout quand la nourriture se raréfie. Et le niébé est aussi bien cultivé par les hommes que par les femmes, et plus par les femmes même dans certaines localités du Sénégal. Ses graines, ses gousses, sa femme peuvent être vendues et constituent une source de revenus non négligeable pour la population locale. Le niébé peut également être transformé en divers mets qui peuvent être utilisés comme petit déjeuner, déjeuner, dîner. Cette transformation constitue une source de revenus supplémentaires pour les femmes qui assurent la transformation. Cette transformation peut également avoir un impact sur la facture de l'importation des céréales du Sénégal, surtout le blé, dans ce contexte de guerre entre la Russie et l'Ukraine. Cependant, les rendements du niébé restent faibles au Sénégal, malgré tous les efforts fournis par le programme de sélection pour développer des variétés hautement productives. Ce rendement est de l'ordre de 800 kg à l'hectare, alors que le potentiel peut aller jusqu'à 3000 kg à l'hectare. Vous voyez ce gap. Mais ça pourrait s'expliquer par les facteurs abiotiques que sont, par exemple, l'irrégularité des pluies, la sécheresse, mais également des contraintes biotiques comme les ravageurs, les maladies, qui s'expriment beaucoup plus lorsque les conditions sont défavorables, comme en cas de sécheresse. Et pourtant, le germoplasme local, qui est constitué de variétés traditionnelles et d'espèces apparentées sauvages du niébé, n'est pas bien exploité. Or, ces ressources pourraient être un réservoir de gènes d'intérêt en termes d'adaptation, de résistance aux différents stress. Donc, je me suis fixé comme objectif global de contribuer à l'amélioration de la productivité du niébé au Sénégal par l'exploitation de ces ressources. Alors, en tant que généticienne, je vais utiliser les marqueurs moléculaires et les nouvelles techniques de sélection pour aller chercher ce qui est intéressant dans ces sauvages et ces variétés traditionnelles pour améliorer les variétés élites afin d'avoir à la fois des variétés productives mais adaptées. Donc, l'aboutissement de ces travaux, c'est de mettre à disposition des producteurs, hommes et femmes, des variétés productives adaptées et ainsi contribuer à la sécurité alimentaire, réduction de la pauvreté, mais également à un mieux-être de la communauté. Alors, si vous vous rappelez, au début de mon propos, je vous ai demandé d'imaginer une femme qui est soutenue par sa famille, qui est épanouie et dont les travaux pourraient avoir un impact sur la communauté. Eh bien, c'est mon histoire. Et je voudrais au passage remercier ma famille, mon époux particulièrement, pour son soutien sans faille. C'est à cause de son soutien que j'ai pu réaliser les activités que je viens de décrire. On lui a proposé de prendre une deuxième épouse parce que je suis presque jamais à la maison. Il a dit, Ami, ne fais pas attention à ce qu'ils disent. Un enfant qui tombe malade doit être hospitalisé à quelques heures d'un voyage. J'ai dit, je ne pars pas. Il me dit, tu vas y aller. J'ai dit non. Il me dit, je vais prendre des jours de congé, je vais m'occuper de l'enfant. Ne t'inquiète pas, tout ira bien. Vas-y. Ce n'est pas évident et je suis devenue la fierté de ma famille. Je voudrais également remercier le programme One Planet Fellowship qui m'a renforcé en termes de leadership, de mentorat, de negotiation skills, rédaction scientifique. Ce programme a renforcé ma confiance en moi, qui m'a permis en tout cas d'affronter beaucoup d'obstacles, surtout en milieu professionnel. J'ai élargi mon réseau de partenariats grâce en tout cas à ce programme One Planet Fellowship. Avant de terminer, permettez-moi de donner un petit conseil aux plus jeunes et particulièrement aux femmes. Ne laissez pas les pensées limitantes vous influencer. Dire que ce n'est pas possible, ce n'est pas possible. Parfois, l'entourage peut nous transmettre sa peur, à même faire exprès, avoir confiance en soi. S'il y a un imprévu, si les choses ne se passent pas comme on veut, avoir une grande capacité d'adaptation et de résilience. Merci. I can go.
Merci beaucoup, Ami. Et mon époux. So we forgot to say we have English-French translation. Are there English speakers at Incredible Stories because they do not have translation equipment? Please raise your hand. We have enough. Should you need, could we have the house lights on so that we can see that everyone is covered? Is there anyone who does not have translation equipment? Okay, everyone is sorted. Thank you. Our next storyteller, we talk about one planet, but travel within just one continent is still a big challenge. Our next speaker traveled for 24 hours to get to Nairobi to share his story. It took 7 hours from Korogo to Abidjan, and then waiting time, then Abidjan to Addis, then Addis to Nairobi, and it is a story worth listening to. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together from Côte d'Ivoire, Doan Godon Bleu.
OK. Mesdames et messieurs, bonsoir. Mon histoire commence dans un petit village à l'ouest de la Côte d'Ivoire, une zone montagneuse. Et je vois le jour dans une famille où j'ai déjà 4 grands frères. Je suis le 5e d'une fratrie de 5 garçons. Étant petit, j'avais une passion pour suivre les insectes, les disséquer et souvent même les consommer. Les parents voyaient cela comme un amusement, comme une distraction, mais cela me tenait vraiment à cœur. L'autre distraction, c'était lorsqu'on me disait « Bleu va poursuivre la poule ». Je savais que lorsque j'attraperai cette poule, elle sera cuisinée et ses pattes et même ses
who did not know how to read or to write. They are subsistence farmers. So they did not have the means to take us to school. My 3 big brothers were able to finish their high school studies. I was the last one to get my high school diploma, and I went as far as possible, even though I have not yet finished the race. It was difficult because my parents were sometimes forced to go and see traders in the city to ask them to lend them some money because school was reopening in September, while in September at the west of...
ne sont pas encore arrivés. Il va falloir trouver un moyen pour pouvoir me mettre à l'école aussi avec mes grands frères. Ce n'était pas évident. Alors, mon père contractait ses crédits et sa satisfaction est que j'ai un kaki et quelques cahiers pour commencer les cours. Tout en sachant que le riz ou le café qu'il est en train d'entretenir ne lui appartient presque plus. Car car lorsqu'il va vendre, les commerçants vont retrancher ce qu'ils leur doivent. C'est ainsi que ma vie s'est faite jusqu'au baccalauréat. Et après le baccalauréat, série D, série mathématiques et sciences naturelles, j'ai décidé de devenir enseignant-chercheur. Pourquoi enseignant-chercheur? Parce que c'est un boulot où tu as deux casquettes. Tu as la casquette d'enseignant, où tu peux transmettre ton rêve à la jeune génération. En plus de cela, tu as le privilège encore d'écrire des projets. Et de façon rapide, tu peux améliorer les conditions des parents, des paysans. Alors, je m'inscris à l'université d'Abobo à Djamé, à Abidjan, à 600 km, voire 700 km de ma ville natale qui est Mans. Je venais de Mans à l'ouest. Je ne connais pas grande personne à Abidjan, mais il faille travailler, il faut tout faire pour réussir à l'université. Les logements ne se présentent pas tout de suite, la bourse aussi ne se présente pas, mais il va falloir continuer les études. Car pour moi, il n'est pas question d'abandonner le rêve. La difficulté commence tout de suite lorsqu'il faut avoir de l'argent pour acheter les documents, les déplacements. La ville d'Abidjan est grande. Tu peux habiter un quartier et aller très loin pour aller à l'université. Alors, je décide de trouver les moyens moi-même. Car pour moi, il n'est plus question, après le baccalauréat, d'appeler au village pour leur dire j'ai encore besoin de l'argent. Car ce serait encore un aveu d'échec. Je décide d'être entrepreneur ou même répétiteur à domicile. Pour ceux qui viennent de la Côte d'Ivoire savent de quoi il s'agit. Le répétiteur à domicile, c'est celui qui va voir une famille et dit « Je suis étudiant. Donnez-moi vos enfants, je vous promets d'améliorer leur niveau jusqu'à la fin de l'année. » On appelle cela des cours à domicile. Alors, j'ai commencé à faire des prospectus avec mon numéro et mon nom et prénom, avec mon niveau académique également. Et j'ai distribué ces prospectus dans des cours, dans des familles. Et un jour, mon téléphone a sonné. Et un monsieur m'a appelé pour dire qu'il est prêt pour que je puisse prendre ses enfants à domicile. C'est ainsi que j'ai commencé mon premier boulot à mi-temps. Les enfants vont à l'école le matin, le soir à partir de 18h, 19h, tu passes et tu leur permets de réviser. Si l'enfant ne comprend pas quelque chose, tu lui expliques jusqu'à ce qu'il comprenne cette chose-là. C'est ainsi que j'ai commencé et la renommée a commencé à se répandre un peu dans le quartier. Après d'avoir eu une cour, une famille, d'autres familles se sont dit « Ok, ce jeune homme a besoin d'être aidé ». C'est ainsi que je suis passé d'une famille à 3 familles. Bien évidemment, mon salaire a également augmenté. Et j'étais capable aussi de faire face à mes besoins. Ainsi de suite, jusqu'à ce que je fasse le diplôme de 3e cycle en écologie tropicale. Là, j'apprends que les changements globaux ont des effets sur les insectes. Les pullulations des ravageurs, les problèmes d'insectes, au niveau même des moustiques et autres, m'ont vraiment touché. Et j'ai décidé d'étudier les insectes. Et j'ai fait la thèse en entomologie agricole. Après cette thèse, j'ai décidé d'être enseignant-chercheur à l'université. Et le recrutement a été lancé. En 2015, je reçois un email où l'email me dit, sur la fiche PDF que je reçois, je suis enseignant-chercheur recruté à l'université de Kouogo, au nord de la Côte d'Ivoire. Le rêve venait d'être réalité. Malheureusement, mon père et ma mère, qui ont tout donné, qui ont vendu leur récolte, n'étaient plus de ce monde, car les difficultés de la vie les avaient assez fragilisés. Mais loin de me décourager, je me suis dit une chose. Chaque fois que je verrai un agriculteur ou une agricultrice, je vois en elle ou en cet agriculteur mon père ou ma mère. qu'à chaque fois que j'aurai un projet à destination ou à faveur du monde agricole, ce sera ma famille que je serai en train d'honorer de la sorte. Alors c'est ainsi que je prends service à l'université de Korogo. Je décide de travailler sur les insectes, bien évidemment. Et le travail avance. Un jour, je décide de faire l'élevage des insectes, car j'ai aussi remarqué que les insectes ne sont pas que négatifs. Les insectes sont riches en protéines. Et certains documents disent que les insectes ont un impact environnemental faible. Ils émettent très peu de gaz à effet de serre et pourraient être même l'alimentation de demain. Je me suis dit, il faut que je commence maintenant. Quelquefois, des gens me voyant élever des grillons avaient des souris aux lèvres. Qu'est-ce qu'il fait ce type? Mais je croyais à mon rêve toujours. Un jour, après avoir écrit un article sur les grillons, mon supérieur hiérarchique, doyen de mon UFR, me forward un email d'award concernant One Planet Fellowship. Je dis, c'est l'occasion à saisir. J'écris mon projet et je reçois l'email. Congratulations, monsieur, vous êtes retenu. Je n'y croyais pas. Et là, j'ai failli même dire à ma femme, pince-moi s'il s'agit de moi. Ça peut pas être moi. Elle a dit oui, c'est toi. Car, même à la maison, j'ai décidé de faire un insectarium derrière la maison où vous entendez la nuit les bruits de grillons. Et elle m'aide à nourrir les grillons. Même à mon absence ici, ma femme m'aide à nourrir les grillons. Et notre fille de 5 ans, lorsqu'elle a quelque chose, elle dit, papa, je dois donner aux grillons. Et j'ouvre les bacs et elle donne aux grillons. Donc j'ai déjà une éleveuse de grillons déjà prête pour moi à la maison. En plus des grillons, j'ai décidé de diversifier, car il ne faut pas mettre tous ses œufs dans un seul panier. Alors j'ai décidé d'élever également les ténébrions et d'autres insectes pour pouvoir avoir plusieurs autres arcs, d'autres cordes à mon arc, comme on le dit. Et la bourse One Planet Fellowship est venue vraiment me donner encore plus de certitude. Pourquoi je dis cela? Parce que les voyages à Nairobi, les formations m'ont donné beaucoup d'assurance. Mais il faut dire que l'AST, oui, l'AST m'a donné beaucoup d'assurance. Ce n'a pas été facile. Mais le jour où j'ai atterri à Bruxelles et j'ai pris le métro ou le train pour aller à Mons, c'était le rêve accompli. Oui. Et là, je suis arrivé à Mons et tous les chercheurs du laboratoire m'ont adopté. La preuve, lorsque j'ai fini ma formation, mes superviseurs m'ont dit, Bleu, il faut que tu reviennes en Belgique. Et lorsque la bourse FNRS a été lancée, mon superviseur m'a dit, Bleu, envoie tes dossiers, on a soumis, et j'ai eu la bourse FNRS. Et voilà. Donc, nous sommes en train de programmer cela pour avril, mai, juin, au plus tard 2025. Et ils attendent à ce que je leur donne ma date afin qu'ils m'envoient les attestations, les papiers pour commencer à faire le visa encore et retourner en Belgique. Tout cela grâce à Awad à travers son projet One Planet Fellowship. Pour terminer, je tenais à dire que la vie n'est pas une ligne droite. Souvent, les choses sont difficiles, mais nous ne devons pas abandonner. Les gens ne sont pas forcément obligés de nous aider, mais nous sommes obligés de tout faire de façon vraiment, je dirais, de la bonne façon pour pouvoir atteindre nos objectifs. Et là, je suis fier d'être là aujourd'hui. C'est vraiment une grâce. Lorsque j'ai vu encore le mail qui me disait que j'allais raconter mon histoire, je me demandais un peu, mais qu'est-ce qu'ils ont vu? qu'est-ce que Bleu a fait pour qu'il soit là pour raconter son histoire. Mais je dis merci à Awad, je dis merci à One Planet Fellowship, à la directrice, Madame Suzanne Caria, je dis merci à tous les travailleurs d'Awad, toute l'équipe, et je dis merci à toute l'équipe qui m'ont permis d'avoir encore confiance en moi et aussi d'avoir un leadership et comprendre qu'il faut souvent sortir des sentiers battus si on veut avoir des résultats originaux. Je vous remercie.
You know, Bleu says life is not a straight line. When he was marrying his wife and she was saying her vows in, but what did you say when you were getting married? In sickness and in health, through good times and bad, till death do us part. I'm sure she did not imagine that this included raising crickets. It was not part of the plan. Story very, very well told. Thank you very, very much. I'd like to invite our band back with Chitakwa to perform some more music as we continue to celebrate the stories from One Planet Fellowship. Feel free to stand up, shake a bit if the spirit moves you to.
Songi songi na sui angai moto akotu nangai abasaka nini ye akotu nangai nalamo zonga yakai nini ye akotu nangai kulokya mobali nanza akotu nangai kulokya mobali nanza masu kaloko zoka yoka nini ye. Ethiopia, oh, Kelevo. Yesa, ya fufu, ya moku, ya kuku, oh, kele vont manger. Donc, je dis pas ce qu'il est baburu, tu vas vivre, ça des oronda. Africa, 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 eh. Korota la fuku la basi qu'il est baburu, ça des oronda. Africa, 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 eh. Sénégal la fuku la basi qu'il est baburu, ça des oronda. Africa, 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 eh. Africa, oh, Africa, oh, manyongeba. Africa, 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 eh. Africa, oh, Africa, oh, manyongeba. Africa, 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 eh.
How many of you guys can sing like that? A big round of applause for the band, everyone. Yeah, that's even better than a big round of applause. It's a funny thing, when you listen to people being creative, when people are singing or when people are acting or doing, very strange things, like bungee jumping, there must be something about their brain that is different from mine. Because I just can't do some of those things. And that's just the beauty of life, that some people can do more than one thing, and some people have a knack or an affinity for danger, or they have a gift for music or for acting or for doing something that is phenomenal or fantastic. Our next speaker is such a person. He does more than one thing, and he hails from a country that is beautiful. If you've been to Malawi, it's a beautiful place. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Elias Gaveta. We keep applauding until Elias gets here, everybody.
Thank you. Two of the things that I've always struggled to balance in my life has been science and music. Science, because I was born in a family. My dad is a science teacher, and there were several books about science, about discoveries of Earth, and so many other things. Actually, I remember the first name that I came across was Galileo, and I think it really stuck because it was strange enough, like my surname, Gaveta, and because he also had some amazing discoveries about science. So it was a name that first stuck, and I was already in love with science when I was a very little kid. So science has never been an issue for me to maneuver around. But at the same time, as I was growing up, I grew up in a community that was really hard in terms of the character that it was labeled. There was a lot of violence, there was a lot of bullying, there was a lot of things that were happening. There were times that I didn't go to school because I didn't want to go to school because I would get bullied. I was the youngest in my class almost all my life. So I would go and watch movies the whole day to make sure that I don't get bullied. So I stuck there, but then it became too much to the point that I needed to find a way to cope with that. And of course, the first thing was I need to learn how to fight. So I started practicing karate and I started bodybuilding so that I could have that physical muscle to stand up to them. But then there was also another part where I got introduced to music, and music became my escape because I would be busy listening to music and writing music and listening to a lot of things. And to be honest, I think I've learned a lot about the world through music because I learned about a lot of cultures, a lot of practices. When I traveled to certain places in or Europe or US, people think that I've been there before, but basically I've learned that through music. So it became a profound part, but because it kept me in the room, so I loved it, and I enjoyed making the music, but I also enjoyed doing the science. So it was really confusing for people to really figure out who I was, because some other people think I'm a good science learner, other people would think I'm a good musician. But these two were always conflicting in my life because other people would encourage me to continue music, other people would encourage me to continue doing school because I was a bit good at both. So eventually, growing up, going to university, trying to live the university life, I needed an upkeep. So I started using music to make money. We started making performances to be able to earn an income while I was at the university. But at the same time, I needed to keep up with my school grades and the things that I was doing in school. So there was a little bit of a conflict, and that conflict grew as I grew older. But of course, at that point, it was really fun because the teachers loved me because I was good in class. And the fans outside, they used to love my music, and it was nice to feel like a celebrity moving around. So at the time that I was growing up, coming to a place where I needed to establish my profession, I realized that I had to choose. I even had a tattoo when I wanted to say I'm stopping music because I thought it was disturbing my career, which was, in that case, the science part. But I would not really get myself to quit music. It was something that had helped me to go through several things, and it was one way that I was escaping a lot of things, and I loved it. And apart from just the music, and I think the artistic part of it introduced me to how communities lived and how I could relate to more people. But then I also enjoyed to be called somebody who's good at science. As I grew up, I got to a place where I needed to figure out one thing that I'm going to pursue. When I was joining the One Planet Fellowship in 2019, I had no idea what to do. Actually, I was hesitant to tell people that I do music because I would think they would always judge me that, how come you're also in music, but you're also doing this? Choose one thing to do. But it was hard for me to choose because I loved both of those things. One way that I tried to balance it when I was younger is that I used to write all the notes from class, all the formulas from the science class. I wrote them into lyrics so that when I get into the exam room, I just recite them, and I'm singing and I'm remembering everything and I'm writing. And and for a while, it really worked. Until when I had a chance to finish my bachelor's and I was home jobless, and everybody thought that it's the music that's keeping you not getting a job because you're busy into music, you're not busy trying to pursue your career or busy to trying to advance that part. But I would like to say that what I learned from there is that the science part of it was really interesting because there were a lot of facts, a lot of discoveries, a lot of things that when you're sharing with people, they were fascinated about them, and you could also connect with that community. But this music part and the art part was also the part where it was easy for me to adapt to different communities around the world, not just in Malawi, but across the world, because I listened to several types of music. Of course, reggae and hip-hop were my favorite, but I listened to a lot of music, including jazz and so many other things. But because I love music, I would like to give you a taste of how that felt. All right, so here we go. I hear the crowd screaming, the previous track is finished. They need a bit of life, and the life is in music, vernacular or English, no matter what the language. You can blow the trumpet in the midst of the violins, saxophones and guitars connected to the speakers with optimum tweeters. The sound wave magic stimulates my action. I picked some time to perfect my rhymes, so let me give you some music. Let me give you. I sacrifice intelligence, I mix it with skill, no matter what you think, but music is real. This is how I felt every time. And it really got hard to the point that I didn't know what to do. But one thing that I came across is when I was selected for the One Planet Fellowship, there was this purpose roadmap. The purpose roadmap had a way of trying to give you a structured way of what do you want to achieve in the different aspects. Of course, in that original form, there was only the academic and the science and the career, and I added the music part. So I started pursuing this. I was like, okay, in this science, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try to do this article. I'm going to do that. In this music, I'm going to make this music. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that. But they were like separate parts of the same person. So it was really hard to move together. But what I really loved about that was that the purpose roadmap, apart from the path to get to the purpose, on top of it, you have to make a purpose statement. And that purpose statement, I said, I want to transform how we communicate with communities on climate change adaptation so that they can relate with the science that we produce. So at that point, I felt relieved. I thought I could use that artistic part of me to really connect with people, to touch people, but to actually tell them about the science that I know and the science that is out there. And I really believe that's one of the greatest tools that I've gotten from the One Planet Fellowship. From that moment, as I went to work as an extension worker, because we were dealing with farmers and several other communities, one thing that somebody told me was that there are always two meetings. There's the meeting that you do as you are an extension worker delivering your message, and then there's the meeting that they do when you leave. The meeting that they do when you leave, that's the most important meeting, because that's when they decide if they're going to take what you've taught them or they're not going to take it. So I thought, okay, that really sounds very profound, but how do I actually get to know what that means? So lucky enough, I got a job with Peace Corps, and Peace Corps actually has a way of going into the communities where they have volunteers to stay and serve the community. So they actually stay in the community that they're serving. So I was the technical trainer in the environment aspect, but more than just training them, the technical aspects, you had to understand the community that they're going to live so that you can tell them how they can conduct themselves out of the technical aspects so that they can actually be able to relate with the people. So this was like my first eye-opening moment. I was like, oh, okay, so there is a connection between this part of humanity and this part of science where you actually want to say, this is the technical aspects that I bring to you, and this is also the science that I bring to you by understanding that community. And so I went back to the music. I had stopped it for about 4 years because I thought people were going to not accept it. So I went back to music and I started understanding what it meant, and I started to learning how communities work through that music. And after I got working on the purpose roadmap, understanding the thing, actually I connected on top of those two lines, the science and the music that I had. I finally had a connect that really made sense. To this day, I would say that I'm happy that that has actually worked in a point that my studies no longer focus on just the science, but because I looked at science differently, I was happy with the opportunity that I got and the support from Award to present how to integrate indigenous knowledge into climate smart agriculture, something that I had never thought before that. I actually believe that people are more familiar and they're more easy when they're staying in their cultural context. And I think that they value more culture and art than they value science in communities. But how to bring the science to this community is something else that works. And from then, I started looking at ways how we can actually develop the approaches and science that can actually work in communities. I believe that if all scientists would look at where the context of any innovation would work by looking at the context or the cultural context where they're going to bring it, it will make it easier for them to actually transform their community. I'll give you an example that when we're doing a study with some Laureates candidate, we were looking at how conservation agriculture have been adopted. It is a very nice science concept, and it has had a lot of investment in Malawi. But to date, maybe only 1.6% of the whole population have adopted it. So that was a really big question that I was questioning, and I thought that it is impossible to say that science is good, but it is not working for people. So that has been the journey that I've been through to just really balance where science and art can come together. And I'm happy that at that end, I thought it was not recognized by so many people, but I'm supporting communities that are in Rwanda, Uganda, and Malawi, some of the places that I've never been. But because they give me the context of that country, I've been able to develop some tools that have helped to participate and practice what they call the community-driven development, a new approach for climate change adaptation that looks at communities making their own decisions about how they want to adapt to the effects of climate change. And I think that this is something very, very profound. And because of that, I started an initiative that we call Conservation Arts, which is meant to really work with the youths by bringing science in an artistic platform. The idea is to share their scientific facts, but in the artistic platform, which is more like this. I wish the drummer was still here. I was going to do another song, but he's gone. Oh. So yeah, I really thank the opportunity that I got introduced to the Purpose Roadmap, and I believe in the community that I grew up in, where we had no idea of what you want to take your life to. If most of the youths were exposed to that approach of that Purpose Roadmap to just really figure out what you want to achieve in the next 2 or 3 years or 4 years, I think a lot of youths would have gone far, and I think we would have a lot of scientists. And I'm very happy that I was part of the One Planet Fellowship. But I'm also happy that I now started again making music with my daughter. Thank you.
So, how many scientists do we have in the room? Don't leave, okay. Just here, don't run away. How many scientists do we have in the room? How many musicians or creatives do we have in the room? How many people are scientists and creatives? 2, 3, 4, 5? Do you agree with him that we need to work harder to integrate the two, to make science sexy and attractive and more acceptable? How many agree with that? Thank you very much. Your message is home.
Thank you.
Our next speaker comes from a country that I would call, the people are polite. Any ideas? Zambia? Anyone else? Polite Africans. Zambia? Is anyone saying Nigeria, Cameroon? They're polite and they are passionately patriotic. That cuts out a few more countries. Passionately patriotic. They manage to successfully avoid being colonized. And they are so patriotic and they so believe in their country that they have their own calendar. It is currently 2017 in their country, and their calendar has 13 months. They go at their own pace. They are yeah? See, passionately patriotic. I like that. She says, if you go to Ethiopia, you'll instantly be 7 years younger. And the Ethiopians are so patriotic that they have the audacity to believe that their coffee is better than Kenyan coffee. And I will unpatriotically agree with them. Their coffee is awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together. Warm round of applause for Mahila Dawit.
When I was in Lisbon, Portugal, I met a lady. and she asked me how Ethiopia is going with the drought. And you may also link Ethiopia with the drought. I'm here to share you the side of Ethiopia you may not know. Ethiopia is a big country. It has a diverse topography, diverse agroecology, and we have a green landscape also. And also we have minerals, rich in minerals, natural resource, and genetic diversity. Ethiopia is the origin of coffee. And mankind. You can find Lucy and Salam. I'm from Ethiopia, I'm proud to be, and I'm Mahila Dawit, born in Gute, East Wallagga, Ethiopia. My parents valued education, and they were my supporters. And my elder sister, she took a responsibility to tutor me after school. It was this time I developed a passion to be a writer and a teacher. I even wrote a poem during my lower grade and telling my friends, I'm a writer and also I'm a teacher. And I took a national examination to join university. And soon after I took a national examination, I became very sick and became on bed for almost 3 months. And I heard that I passed the national examination and I have to fill the form to select the faculty and the university. But I couldn't make it. I couldn't go there and I couldn't make it. I couldn't talk and I couldn't write. And my friends did it to me, and they select agriculture and Hausa University as a first choice for me. I was needed to study a computer science. I was hoping that I became healed and joined the university. By the help of God, I managed to go to Hausa University to study my degree. And I remember the speech of the president of Hausa University, which was Professor Zinabu. And he told us, if you couldn't get what you wanted, you have to accept and love what you get. Bingo. It was a life-changing word for me, and through time, I started to love my field of study. And I graduated by BSc, and then I pursued my MSc in animal breeding and genetics by the help of Swedish government scholarship. After my MSc graduation, there was plenty of opportunity to join, but I was needed to join academia, so I decided to go to university. And I joined Dilla University, Asosa University, then go to Haramaya University. I teach several courses at Haramaya University: animal breeding and genetics, biometry, conservation genetics, biotechnology, and genetics. And also, I am engaged in community service, especially honey production and beekeeping. I was also working as a head of animal breeding and genetics laboratory at Haramaya University. The little of Mahila, she was dream of to be a writer, and now she wants to write a research, to dive in the community, to collaborate with the community. So I started to write a research proposal for a grant. It was my first time to submit a proposal. It was for the African Resilient Network and African Horn of Resilient Innovation Lab. It was the innovational call for the livestock feed conservation. So I sent my application to them. I passed two stages. The project was having 3 stages, and I successfully passed the pitching, co-creation, but I couldn't make to the 3rd level. I again go for the writing, and I got internal grant. I was happy, and I was very excited to work on the adapted livestock breeds. And what I do here, I just finished the preparation for data collection, the financing, everything, and we decided to go with one of my team. The study area it took us 3 days from Haramaya University. Then we started our journey, and first day and second day, in the morning, I heard unexpectedly my friend abandoned me. And I don't know the study area deeply, but I know the place. And I called to my friend, and I told him what happened, and he told me to return to Haramaya, and that we arrange another one, then we go together. I just sat down and cried a lot. And yeah, then after that I decided and told to myself, because I have to go, I have to do myself. So I go to the field. Thank God, I got people who supported me for the data collection. I successfully managed to go to the community and collected the data. And I returned to the university. Also, I managed to produce a paper from that project and presented on international conference in Ethiopia. It was this time I met a scientist from International Livestock Research Institute. He approached me and he told me that the work was very novel and it was good. He really loved it and he just wanted to work with me. I was happy and we discussed together, and I told him that I'm planning to pursue my PhD, and he asked me to go to office and discuss about it. Later, I go to the Addis Ababa International Livestock Research Institute to talk with him, and he directed me with scientists to share my idea with them, and they reviewed my proposal, and they grant me for my PhD research. And at this time, I was living at Haramaya, and I have to pursue my PhD at Addis Ababa. So I have to move with my family, with my kids. I'm a mother of daughter and twins. They were kids, and it was challenging to pursue with them. But I got a support from my family, especially my mother-in-law, and sisters. So by the help of people around me, I managed to work my PhD, and by the help of God, this year I'm going to graduate. I benefited from One Planet Fellowship in all aspects, in personal development, in my career, and also the visibility. I can connect regionally, nationally, and internationally. And also the courses I got about climate and gender interaction helps me to do my research work in my PhD, because it was the component of my PhD work. I was looking at the difference of adaptation in higher and lowland areas of livestock species. My research is focused on livestock genomics to understand how livestock respond to rainfall, to humidity, and to the temperature. And also, I am working on metagenomics to understand the microbiomes. So I'm really grateful to have this opportunity. And also, I can say that we are living in one planet, whether we are from Africa, from Europe, or from Asia. We are facing the challenge of climate change in different ways. So let's put hands together, defeat the challenge we are having. Thank you.
Another hand for Mahila, everyone. So how many of you, like that lady in Lisbon, whenever you think of Ethiopia, you always thought it is a dry place, it's drought, it's suffering. And it's funny that many people around the world, that's the first thing they think of Ethiopia. But if you've been there, or just listening to Mahila, it's fantastic how she spoke so wonderfully about her country, that there is rich agriculture, you know, they raise animals, they have fantastic coffee. And I think that's the thing that we don't do sufficiently. We don't shout about our countries, about our planet, about our continent, and the beautiful things. So many times we talk a lot about the things that are not working in Africa, and there's many things that are not working. That is true. But there's also many fantastic things that are going right. And Mahila, I think, a fantastic job in raising awareness and in celebrating your country in such a fantastic way. Another hand for her. That said though, when Mahila was paying tribute, all the men in the house, did you guys catch whom she paid tribute to? She said she paid tribute to her mom, her sister, her mother-in-law. There was no husband there. It's a tough world for men. I'm just like, can you imagine my mom making it to the list and I don't? You know, it's, guys, it's a tough world, but we're African and we must stay strong, right? Hi, Cosmo. I didn't think I was ready for you, but because you're here, just take it away. Take it away.
Sagana mama, salamu zangu na kutumia popote ulipozipokea. Salimie ndugu na wazazi wako mamae, popote walipo. Afro, mimi si jambo lakini mawazo tele moyoni, nina wasiwasi mamae. Kikumbuka tulivyoachana mara ya mwisho, uliniahidi Afro, siku zimepita bibie, bona sikuonie mamaye. Afro mamaye, toto wa Saganae, kaukumbuke penzi ugeuka, leo kwangu kesho kwako mama, utanikumbuka Salimie ndugu na wazazi wako mamaye, popote walipo. Afro, mimi si jambo lakini mawazo tele moyoni, nina wasiwasi mamaye. Nikumbuka tulivyoachana mara ya mwisho, uliniahidi Afro, tungeonana mapema, siku zimepita bibie, bona sikuonie utanikumbuka Salimie ndugu na wazazi wako mamae, popote walipo Afro. Mimi si jambo lakini mawazo tele moyoni, nina wasiwasi mamae, nikikumbuka tulivyoachana mara ya mwisho, uliniahidi Afro tungeonana mapema, sikuambie mbona sikuonie mamae, Afro mamae, Toto asagana haukumbuke penzi ugeuka leo kwangu kesho kwako mama utanikumbuka Sagana usiniweke pembeni mama, ingawa wako wengi wazuri mami, mimi nimekuchagua wewe, tabia zako sawa na sura yako, nimeridhika kuwa na wewe. Sagana unipeleke mama, tukawaone baba na mama natizeni pia tufike mami, ukawaone wazazi wako mwisho na kuombea salama Afro, lakini nimekutambua wewe. Sikutala mama, wana mama balubula sikutale, libra divena. Sikutala mama, wana mama balubula sikutale, Erike lema. Sikutala mama, wana mama balubula sikutale.
Do your children know that you move like that? Fantastic. It has often been said that money can't buy you happiness, but it has also often been said that those who say that don't know where to shop. Our next speaker, really, when you see her here, you'll know that she knows how to shop. And she's fantastic in so many ways. She comes from the beautiful country of Mali. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Rokia Traore.
Merci. A une fois vu une tempête, pas celui qu'on vient juste d'avoir, hein? Qui a une fois vu une tempête? Ok, pas beaucoup. Mon histoire est celle d'une personne qui, après plusieurs tempêtes, ramasse les morceaux et reconstruit. Je suis née en Russie d'un père qui poursuivait son doctorat en statistique et d'une mère qui a tout abandonné pour suivre son mari sur une terre inconnue. À l'âge de 3 ans, mon papa a senti cet appel du pays. Il a décidé de retourner servir son pays. De ce fait, nous avons quitté Saint-Pétersbourg pour Bamako. Mes 2 parents ont servi comme fonctionnaires et nous vivions une vie paisible. Lorsque j'ai eu mon baccalauréat, mes parents m'ont envoyé au Sénégal pour effectuer mon master. J'étais loin de découvrir que j'allais rencontrer l'homme qui sera mon mari, le partenaire d'affaires, mon mentor. Après notre parcours au Sénégal, nous sommes séparés. Il est parti dans d'autres endroits et moi également dans d'autres pays pour poursuivre nos expériences académiques et professionnelles. 5 ans après, nous nous sommes retrouvés. C'est là qu'on vit devant Monsieur le maire, devant nos familles, devant nos amis. C'était le jour le plus heureux de ma vie. 1 an après, j'ai donné naissance à notre premier fils. Et c'est là que mon mari et moi, tout comme mon papa il y a des années, avons ressenti cet appel du pays, de venir servir notre pays. Cependant, nous voulions revenir avec un projet capable de créer des impacts économiques, environnementaux et sociaux tout en étant viables. C'est là que nous nous sommes mis à rechercher plusieurs pistes. 3 défis ont émergé. La désertification, la pauvreté des femmes en milieu rural, la malnutrition. Après plusieurs pistes de solutions, bingo, moringa. Nous avons découvert le moringa. L'arbre multiples vertus. L'arbre qui peut grandir en 3 mois. L'arbre qui peut capturer plus de gaz carbonique qu'un arbre ordinaire. L'arbre dont les feuilles, les fleurs, les fruits peuvent être consommés et peuvent apporter aux hommes et aux animaux plusieurs nutriments antioxydants et anti-inflammatoires. Nous nous sommes assis pour rédiger un plan d'affaires et nous avons senti le besoin d'intégrer les résultats scientifiques, d'intégrer une communauté scientifique pour rendre notre projet plus impactant. Et c'est là que j'ai postulé au One Planet Fellowship de Howard. Et j'ai été sélectionnée. Après plusieurs formations, nous avons décidé d'officialiser notre projet et de créer Hero Alliance, l'entreprise qui va porter le projet, l'entreprise qui va supporter des millions de femmes, l'entreprise qui va participer au combat contre la désertification et la malnutrition. Nous l'avons créée en novembre 2019. Quelques mois après, nous avons décidé de mettre en place un projet pilote avec 50 femmes qui seront formées à produire 5000 arbres moringa. En août 2020, ces femmes ont pu produire leur pépinière de 5000 plantes. Le 18 novembre 2020, nous avons organisé une grande journée de reboisement où nous avons invité le ministre de l'Emploi et de la formation professionnelle du Mali, plusieurs autorités locales et la population. Danse, chants et plantations y étaient au rendez-vous. C'était une très belle journée. Le 22 novembre 2020, à 3 heures du matin, je reçois l'appel de ma belle-sœur. Allô? Ton mari n'est plus en vie. Mon monde s'est écroulé. C'était la plus grande tempête de toute ma vie. Celui qui était mon mari, le père de mes enfants, mon partenaire d'affaires, mon confident, mon meilleur ami, le centre de ma vie, n'est plus en vie. Je n'y croyais pas jusqu'à ce que je voie le corps de mon mari sans vie. Après l'enterrement, je me suis rendu compte que j'étais enceinte de 3 mois. J'ai fait un deuil de 6 mois où j'étais incapable de faire quoi que ce soit. J'ai abandonné Hero Alliance. Et les femmes également ont abandonné Hero Alliance. Après accouchement, ma conscience m'a parlé. Mais pourtant, tu as un enfant que tu as abandonné. L'enfant que tu as eu avec ton mari, que tu as abandonné. Cette voix m'a beaucoup parlé. Et là, je me suis dit, non. C'est le moment où tout commence. Je me suis levée, j'ai fait des recherches, j'ai postulé à plusieurs programmes de financement. Et le premier à me sourire était Tony et Lumele Foundation. J'ai eu une subvention qui m'a permis de repartir vers les femmes pour planter à nouveau les arbres qui étaient morts. Et en même temps, pour raviver l'usine de production et produire nos premiers thés de moringa, ainsi que de poudre de moringa. Nous sommes allés vers plusieurs supermarchés et le premier à accepter nos produits était Shoprite. Ils ont commandé 10 pots qu'ils voulaient vendre pour voir le marché. Une semaine, à l'espace d'une semaine, ils ont écoulé les 10 pots. Ils ont fait la même chose avec 10 autres pots. Et aujourd'hui, nous sommes en partenariat avec Shoprite et avec plus de 20 supermarchés à ce jour. J'ai également eu l'opportunité d'être sélectionnée par le gouvernement des États-Unis pour aller aux États-Unis pour le Mandela Washington Fellowship. J'étais à Rutgers University. Et après cela, j'ai effectué un stage professionnel à Caroline du Nord. À mon retour, la question avait quadruplé. Le Mali ne me suffisait plus pour mes produits moringa. J'ai vendu mon marché vers le Sénégal, la Côte d'Ivoire, le Burkina Faso, l'Allemagne, la France. Je n'avais plus de limites. En même temps, nos chiffres d'affaires avaient augmenté parce que nous avons également postulé, participé à plusieurs expositions internationales et nationales. Par la suite, à la même année, en 2022, nous avons obtenu un contrat où nous avons pu fournir 1000 producteurs de 20 000 pieds de moringa. Et ces producteurs sont devenus nos fournisseurs effectifs de produits moringa. De ce fait, nous avons pu diversifier nos produits en faisant du thé, la poudre, l'huile, les savons, le miel, d'autres produits à base de moringa. Ce projet est une réussite. En 2023, nous avons reçu un autre contrat plus grand. C'était de planter 150 000 arbres moringa pour servir 5 000 producteurs. Que ne fut notre choix? Cependant, une autre tempête allait nous frapper en plein figure. Les 150 000 plantes de moringa ont été décimées par des chenilles légionnaires. Mon équipe était dévastée. Moi encore plus. Dévastée parce que nous avons perdu ce grand contrat. Dévastée parce que c'était un objectif de moins à atteindre. Mon équipe était déboussolée. Je pleurais tous les nuits chez moi. Et le jour, chaque jour, j'allais vers les membres de mon équipe pour les consoler en cachant mes larmes. Et aujourd'hui, nous sommes soudés plus que jamais. Nous avons eu plusieurs tempêtes. Mais après chaque tempête, nous avons pu nous relever grâce au soutien de la famille, grâce au programme de Award et d'autres programmes, grâce aux prix et récompenses que nous avons eus. Lorsque la vie vous lance des morceaux, à vous de vous ramasser des morceaux et d'en faire un escalier pour vous hisser des ruines. La vie est un combat, mais qui mérite d'être vécu. Prenez bien soin de vous. Now, how many of you want to hear the same story in English? Well, you'll be served because I'll repeat it in English. Who has ever witnessed a storm in his entire life? A storm. Okay, not many. My story is about picking up the pieces after each storm. I was born in Russia. At that time, my father was doing his PhD in statistics. And my mom left everything in Mali to follow her husband. At the age of 3, my father received that call from within to go back home and serve his nation. That's when we left St. Petersburg for Bamako. Both of them integrate the government to serve the country, and we were living a peaceable life. After I got my A-level, my parents sent me to Senegal to pursue with my master. I didn't know at that time that I would be meeting the one who will become my husband, my business partner, my mentor. After our journey in Senegal, we went to different countries to pursue our experiences. 5 years later, we've met again, and we said yes. We got married in front of our family, in relatives. It was the happiest day of my life, our life. We said yes, for better or worse. A year later, we gave birth to our first son. And we also received that call from within. We need to go back home and serve our country. That's when we started investigating, looking for solutions. 3 challenges raised: desertification, poverty of women in rural areas, malnutrition. After investigating, after seeking for more solutions, bingo, we found moringa, the super tree, the superfood, the tree that can grow in 3 months, the tree capable to capture more carbon dioxide than another typical tree. A tree that can give leaves, seed, flowers with many nutrients, antioxidants, anti-inflammatory. We have decided to work on this solution, this idea, and produce a business plan. That's when we felt the need to integrate science, scientific research in our business model. Then I've applied for the One Planet Fellowship program, and I was selected. After receiving many trainings from Howard, we've decided to establish the company that will carry on our idea, and that was Hero Alliance. That company that will support millions of women in rural areas. That company that will address desertification, and that company that will address malnutrition. That was in November 19. A couple of months to implement a pilot project with 50 women trained to produce 5,000 moringa plants. In August 2020, they have established the seedlings. In November 18th, we've organized a moringa planting days with the Ministry of Labor and the professional trainings, the local authorities, and all the population from the areas. We were dancing, shining, and planting moringa. In November 22nd, at 3 a.m., I've received a call from my sister-in-law telling me, "Hello, your husband is no more alive." My life fell apart. It was the biggest storm of my entire life. The one who is my husband, the father of my children, the inborn ones, the one who is my business partner, my mentor, my confidant, my best friend, is no more alive. Nothing will be the same again. I didn't believe until I saw laid without any life. I start realizing, and I also found out that I was 3 months pregnant. The shock was indescribable. I abandoned everything, including Hero Alliance. The women also abandoned the project, and the moringa trees all died. When I gave birth to my second boy, I heard from within a voice telling me, "You do have another child, but you've abandoned it." That's when I've decided to raise again and to start applying again for funding opportunities for other programs. And the first one that I received is the Tony Elumelu Foundation. That grant helped me to start planting again moringa trees, and at the same time revive our processing factory and process our first tea and powder moringa. We went to a couple of supermarkets, and in the end, ShopRite gave us the opportunity. They started with 10 boxes that they sold in just 1 week. They've decided to take 10 more boxes and try the market. Within a week, they could solve it. And then they've become our partners since then. And we still collaborate with over 20 supermarkets in Mali. In the same year, in 2022, I got the opportunity to be selected for the Mandela Washington Fellowship organized by the US government. I went to university to study leadership and to do my professional internship in North Carolina. When I came back, my ambition were bigger and bigger. Mali was not enough anymore. I needed my market to Burkina Faso, to Cote d'Ivoire, to Senegal, to Germany, to France. I had no limits. At the same time, we also received a contract, a moringa contract of 20,000 trees to be delivered to 1,000 farmers. That was such a joy for my team and I. We also have seen our money raised. We didn't know that in 2023, we'll be having another storm. We got a bigger contract. That time, it was 150,000 moringa trees to be delivered to 5,000 farmers. We were so excited. The whole team was engaged. One day, we just went to our seedlings to find that the 150,000 plants have been destroyed by army worms. We were devastated. My team members were crying. And me, every night, I used to cry. But in the morning, every morning, I woke up, wipe all my tears, and motivate my team. As a matter of fact, these events strengthen our relationship. Now we have a stronger team. And this year, in 2024, we've planted over 50,000 trees and empowered over 22,000 farmers. We have received many prizes and recognition, although we still have a lot of storms hitting us. But after each storm, we pick up our pieces and we build another shelter to raise ourselves up. Life can throw you a lot of things, but it's up to you to collect them, use it to emerge from the ruins and win. Life is a fight that deserves to be lived. Take care of yourself. Thank you.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, stories are life-changing. It's very easy to say when you're going through a storm, keep going through it. But then you listen to a story like Rokia 2's, and it makes you believe you can go through whatever storm comes your way. So when Rokia 2 told us she can speak in both English and French, we thought this is a story that needs to be heard by many women, many men, French, because something is lost in that auto caption that comes down there. And the stories are not just for us who are sitting here. They're for us to use to encourage our mentees. They're to use to encourage our students. They're to be used to encourage our brothers and our sisters. And when they do go online, they're stories that we will keep using to encourage ourselves when we're going through the storm. Thank you very much. A better round of applause for the storm chaser. Our next speaker loved science from when he was a little boy. And he is fortunate that that love for science stayed, and he now teaches science. He comes from the small but powerful country of Benin. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for the very smart, he looks sharp, very smart, Janvier Ega.
Mon histoire, une histoire drôle, émouvante et peut-être émotionnelle. Un petit village du Bénin où j'ai découvert une famille immensement riche, mais tous les membres de cette famille étaient des maladifs. Je me posais la question de savoir comment est-ce qu'on peut être riche et vivre tout le temps avec des maladies. Je me suis posé cette question et je demandais à mon père comment cela peut se passer. Il me disait, mon fils, l'argent ne fait pas le bonheur. À partir de cet instant, il m'envoya à l'école. J'ai fait mes études primaires et secondaires en milieu rural. Quelques années plus tard, j'ai obtenu mon bac. Et je devrais quitter mes parents pour la toute première fois pour une destination inconnue. C'était à la faculté d'agronomie de l'université de Parakou. Après mes études universitaires, j'ai obtenu le diplôme d'ingénieur agronome, le master, le doctorat. Mais j'ai rencontré une dame, très belle qu'elle soit, avec un visage arrondi, un teint bronzé. Je ne pouvais jamais imaginer que la mort pouvait emporter cette dame. Quelle était la cause? C'était le diabète et l'hypertension. Cet événement malheureux qui est survenu m'a rappelé l'histoire que mon père m'avait racontée en me disant l'argent ne fait pas le bonheur. Parce que cette belle dame, ses parents étaient immensement riches, mais eux tous étaient hypertendus, diabétiques. Je me posais la question de savoir, en tant que chercheur, qu'est-ce qu'il fallait faire. Mais en temps, j'ai eu un postdoc à l'Université catholique de Louvain, où j'étais quand Awad avait lancé son appel. J'ai postulé, comme tout individu, sans savoir réellement de quoi il s'agissait. Mais en temps, je suis rentré. Arrivé à l'aéroport, c'est mon oncle qui venait m'accueillir. Arrivé à l'hôtel, il me dit, mon frère, je ne sais pas comment faire. J'ai dit, oncle, qu'est-ce que tu as? Il dit, je suis hyper tendu. Je me suis rendu compte que c'est la troisième personne qui vivait le même mal. 2 semaines plus tard, il venait chez moi à Parakou quand il a fait une crise sur la voie. Il décéda. C'était terrible. C'était le seul oncle que j'avais en ville. Et quand je quitte mes parents, c'est chez lui seul que je me rendais en ville. Voilà qu'il est parti. À partir de cet instant, dans mes travaux, j'ai commencé par chercher les causes de l'hypertension artérielle, du diabète. Comment peut-on le prévenir? Et c'est là que j'ai découvert que les légumes feuilles constituaient un potentiel, compte tenu de leur teneur en antioxydants, en fibres, en bêta-carotène, en vitamines, etc. Je me demandais comment faire alors pour comprendre pourquoi un homme riche peut ne pas consommer les légumes feuilles. J'étais là quand l'université de Wageningen lança un appel pour recruter un coordonnateur pays pour gérer un projet qui va promouvoir la consommation des légumes feuilles dans les grandes villes du Bénin. J'ai dit, voilà ce que je cherchais. Que faut-il faire? J'ai postulé, mais on m'a présélectionné, il fallait faire l'entretien en anglais. Voilà un autre défi, un autre challenge. Je me suis rappelé qu'en temps, Awad avait payé une formation en anglais pour nous. J'ai appelé mon coach pour dire, coach, tu m'excuses, je n'assistais pas aux formations, mais maintenant j'ai besoin de toi. Le coach, il est venu à la maison, une fois, 2 fois. J'avais tellement de choses à faire que je n'arrivais même pas à assister aux cours, à les appliquer. Et c'était la veille, un jeudi. J'étais là, je me posais des questions, comment faire demain? À 2h du matin, mon épouse m'appela. Mais tu as ton test demain en anglais? J'ai dit oui. Que faut-il faire? Elle me dit, lève-toi, révise tout ce que tu as appris au moins. C'est à partir de cet instant, je me suis levé, j'ai allumé mon téléphone, YouTube, apprendre l'anglais. Je me suis mis à poser la question comment on peut appeler les légumes feuilles en anglais. J'ai commencé par essayer. Et il sonna 9h, l'heure de l'entretien. On a commencé. On dit, could you introduce yourself? Et puis j'ai dit yes. J'avais déjà rédigé. Et puis je me suis présenté normalement. Mais de question en question, il y avait une question qu'on m'avait posée, c'était en anglais. Je savais que la réponse c'est oui ou non. Mais je n'avais pas compris la question. En ce moment-là, j'étais resté bouche bée, je ne pouvais plus parler. Mon épouse avait observé ce silence, elle est sortie de la chambre et m'a regardé. J'ai fait comme si je ne l'ai pas vu. Et la dame qui faisait l'entretien avec moi, c'était Irène, de l'université Wageningen. Elle-même, elle dit no, j'ai dit yes. Et quand j'ai dit yes, elle a fait la tête comme ça. Je me demandais, est-ce que c'était la bonne réponse ou non? Donc, c'est comme ça l'entretien est achevé. Et le lendemain, vendredi, je reçois un mail et on dit « Congratulations ». J'étais super content et j'ai dit à mon épouse, je maîtrise l'anglais. Et on était content, on a fait la fête, mais le défi initial, les causes de l'hypertendu, qu'est-ce qui fait que des hommes riches ne consomment pas les légumes feuilles en milieu urbain? Et le premier réflexe que j'avais eu, c'était de mener cette étude pour comprendre le comportement des consommateurs en milieu urbain. Je l'avais réalisé dans les 4 grandes villes du Bénin. À la fin de cette étude, j'ai découvert que les pauvres C'était les pauvres qui consommaient vraiment les légumes feuilles, mais pour les riches, les autres, c'est la viande, les pizzas, les hamburgers, le riz, etc., etc. Je me suis demandé quelles pourraient être d'autres raisons. J'ai rencontré certaines personnes. Ils ne comprenaient pas du tout l'importance de consommer les légumes feuilles. Ils ne savaient pas. Pour d'autres, la consommation des légumes feuilles en ville était un risque. Parce que cette étude avait révélé que 7 sur 10 personnes dans ces grandes villes consommaient hors de leur ménage. Parce qu'ils quittaient la maison très tôt le matin pour aller au service et ne rentraient que le soir. Donc du coup, ils n'ont que les aliments de rue à consommer. Et puisqu'ils ont dit qu'ils n'ont pas confiance aux légumes feuilles, ceux qui comprenaient l'importance et ceux qui ne comprenaient pas aussi n'en demandaient pas, les vendeurs de repas de rue ne leur offraient pas cette opportunité d'acheter des repas avec légumes feuilles. C'est à partir de cet instant, j'ai décidé, avec l'Université Wageningen bien sûr, d'installer un dispositif avec des sentinelles. Nous avons recensé les vendeurs et vendeuses de repas de rue que nous avons formés, sensibilisés sur l'importance des légumes feuilles. Nous avons conçu des posters, des affiches, des flyers que nous avons mis un peu partout dans les villes. Et nous avons, avec nos sentinelles, dénombré le nombre de consommateurs qui visitaient cette dame, ceux qui décidaient d'en acheter et de consommer, et ceux qui n'en consommaient pas. Et c'est comme ça, nous avons constaté que plus de 6 personnes sur 10 avaient consommé les légumes feuilles qu'on les avait proposés. Mais on a dit, et les 4 autres, pourquoi les autres n'en ont pas consommé? On les a appelés, on a discuté avec eux. La raison principale, c'était qu'ils n'étaient pas sûrs des bonnes pratiques de cuisson de ces légumes feuilles. Ils n'étaient pas non plus sûrs des pratiques de production utilisées, parce qu'ils ont dit qu'il y a beaucoup d'engrais chimiques utilisés pour produire ces légumes feuilles et qu'ils ne voulaient pas du tout prendre des risques. À partir de cet instant, on a décidé de labelliser des légumes feuilles en identifiant des sources de production agroécologique. Nous avons fait des analyses biochimiques et biophysiques dans les laboratoires pour attester du fait que ces légumes feuilles ne comportaient pas des produits chimiques et des métaux lourds. Et après cela, nous avons labellisé nos légumes feuilles que nous avons exposés dans les marchés avec des flyers, des posters pour sensibiliser. Et lorsqu'on a fait cette expérience, on découvra plus de 8000 personnes qui consommaient ces légumes feuilles par jour dans les villes dans lesquelles ces sentinelles étaient installées. À partir de cet instant, on s'est dit, OK, voilà ce que nous avons obtenu, qu'est-ce qu'il faut faire? Il faut maintenant passer à la mise à échelle. C'est comme ça que j'ai décidé d'étendre l'intervention dans d'autres villes et je vous assure, à partir d'aujourd'hui, nous avons plus de 20 000 consommateurs de légumes feuilles dans les grandes villes du Bénin. Alors, qu'est-ce qu'il faut retenir de cette histoire? Nous, les chercheurs, riches ou pauvres, à des moments donnés, il y a des sujets, des problématiques qui nous échappent. Il est très important pour nous de sortir des théories pour des pratiques. Nous sommes appelés et interpellés à sensibiliser nous-mêmes, nos familles et également ceux qui nous entourent pour une alimentation saine, équilibrée et diversifiée. Je vous remercie.
Another hand for him. What a fantastic story told with so much humor I enjoyed that, even through the translation. And well, I liked what you said at the end that, and I think that science works when it solves simple problems. I think, and I like what you said, that the guys were not eating the vegetables because they're afraid of the chemicals of how the vegetables are being prepared. And like what you said, that maybe sometimes the reason people are not following science is because it's not fully solving their issues, or we've not gotten to the bottom of it. And a fantastic story told with so much humor. Thank you very much. Another hand for him. We're coming to the end of this evening. How many of you have been to the Vic Falls? Vic Falls, Victoria Falls, depending on where you are, in both Zambia and Zimbabwe. So the Vic Falls is on my bucket list for this year, and I'm looking forward. And our final speaker this evening promised me that I shall be hosted when I go to Livingstone in Zambia. So our final speaker this evening has so many achievements under her belt. She's a powerhouse in so many ways. She has so much grace and so much power, but also so much gentility and gentleness and kindness in her. Put your hands together for Kalenga Banda.
Growing up, if you told me I would end up as an agricultural scientist, I wouldn't have believed you. That is because from as far back as I remember, I was told I was going to be a medical doctor, because that's what clever girls do, clever girls and boys. So I didn't give much thought to what I was going to do besides medicine, or why I was going to do it. I was simply going to go to university and fulfill my mission, be a medical doctor. So after the first year, or going through the first year of university, I found out there were many other clever girls and boys. And when I didn't make the cut to medical school, I was at crossroads. And I went to the one person I knew I could get advice from. I went to my father and asked him, what will I do now? And he told me, you are good in math, so maybe you should do math. And with math, you can do anything. You can get into engineering, computer science. And it sounded like a brilliant idea. So I set out to the university to go and enroll for maths. On the way there, I remember that day, I met a friend of mine, Angela. And she asked me, Kalenga, where are you going? I was like, oh, I'm going to the School of Natural Sciences to enroll for maths. I was like, really? Good luck with that. There's a long queue of students there. I'm just from the School of Agricultural Sciences, and within 5 minutes, I was done. I was like, oh, that's an idea. So you can imagine my father's disappointment at the end of the day when I told him I had enrolled in agriculture. He was like, agriculture? And I consoled him. I said, it's not really agriculture. I'm going to do agricultural economics. So I'll be an economist. So I went into the School of Agricultural Sciences with a goal to major in economics. Towards the end of the year, at the end of a lecture, one professor approached me and asked me what I planned to major in. And I told him I was going to major in economics. And he asked me, have you considered plant sciences? I was like, not really. Then he told me, the benefits of plant sciences, and something catchy that he told me, he thought I would excel in the plant sciences, and that really caught my attention. And so from then on, I set out to do plant sciences. Not only did I set out to do plant sciences, I wanted to be everything this man was. He had gone to UC Davis, I was going to go to UC Davis. He was a professor, I was going to be a professor. And so my journey began. So I excelled in the plant sciences, and at the end of the 5-year study, I was returned by the university as a staff development fellow. I then went on to do my master's at Stellenbosch University. But my story really begins when I enrolled in my PhD. So here I was, a simple girl from a very simple background at my dream university. I was at Cornell University. And the plan there was simple. I was going to get in, and for 4 years, I was going to focus on my research around sweet potato storage, and I was going to go back home and do big things. But I didn't know what was coming ahead, and things quickly changed. So 1 year into my study, just when I was about to get into my research, and I remember the previous, like a few weeks earlier, I had been pitching my proposal to my supervisor. So a few weeks later, I found out I was pregnant. Here I was, an unmarried woman, pregnant in a foreign country. So I went to my supervisor and I told him, and he was shocked. He said, "What about all those plans we had, we talked about?" And he said, "Your life will never be the same." I said, "Okay." I then informed my sponsors, and I remember I was sponsored by an alumni at Cornell, and I remember, his name is Chris. I told him, I said, "I'm pregnant." And he said, "Okay, does this mean you're quitting?" I said, "Not a chance. I know where I come from, and I know what's at stake. Quitting is not on the cards." So I had a plan. I was going to have this baby, and this baby was going to go home to my mother, and I was going to continue. But alas, that wasn't to be, because a few months down the line, I developed complications. And these complications landed me in hospital. And I had a premature baby, very premature, just 600 grams. And he was very sick. At that point, I didn't know what I was going to do. So my parents, of course, they were very disappointed about how things turned out. But they were determined to support me. And I remember they used to tell me, they used to joke and say, "We've told the whole village that our daughter has gone to Cornell and she's going to be a doctor, and you are going to come back a doctor." So my father, who at that time had just finished theology training and was going to go to the eastern part of Zambia to do some mission work, decided to abandon all that. And he came to the US. So the biggest challenge I had at that time was childcare. So he came to the US and supported me by taking care of my son while I attended to my lab work. Not only that, my son needed 5 surgeries, and we had to travel from New York to Texas for that. And sometimes I could not get the time to go, and my father walked me through all that. So at the end of that 3 years, I had done most of my data collection. I had to write my thesis now. Then my father decided to come back home. This was during the COVID pandemic, for a brief visit, and he was going to come back. And he was going to come back to help me through the last bit, because my son also had 1 more surgery upcoming. Unfortunately, when he went back home, he got COVID and he passed away. As you can imagine, this was completely devastating for me. This is a man that had walked alongside me He had walked alongside me for 3 years. And he looked forward to this. I remember we had attended a friend's graduation. She was from Zimbabwe. Zimbabweans and Zambians have this thing. So I remember we had even attended my friend's graduation, and my father was telling me about how he was going to dance during my graduation. More so because he himself had enrolled in university but had not finished. So he was really living his dream through me. So I couldn't go on. I couldn't continue. Everything around me reminded me of my father. At that point, I even had a strained relationship with my supervisor because I was not a good student. Things were up and down for me. So I decided I was going to get a leave of absence. I was going to pack up and go back home, which I did. But prior to leaving, I had applied for the One Planet Fellowship. The goal with that fellowship was, in my head, I would be done with my PhD. One Planet Fellowship would not be helping me with my PhD. What they would be helping me with is widen my research horizons, but also develop leadership skills. So I went back home, not having completed my PhD yet. And when I went home, the plan was, in 6 months, I'm going to get the writing done. But that didn't happen. I kept extending my leave of absence for 2 years. And I choose to focus on this part of my story because I want to highlight some of the ways the One Planet Fellowship helped me to achieve this goal in my life. There are many other people that played a huge role, and my mother, friends, and many others, but I want to highlight what the One Planet Fellowship did. So the first thing I want to say is that it provided me a mentor. When I left the US, my supervisor said, I understand. You've gone through a lot, and it makes sense that you want to go. So it felt like he did not have expectations from me. But being tied to a mentor, and this mentor, she's here. This is someone I have always looked up to. This is someone that has inspired me. And it sort of gave me someone to be accountable to, someone who expected something from me. And so, she doesn't know, but sometimes in the corridors at work, I would run away because I knew what the question would be. How far have we gone with that submission? And I remember sometimes we had one meeting, and she said, I think the problem, because we had set a purpose roadmap. Elias talked about the purpose roadmap. And in that purpose roadmap, the first hurdle I had to get through was that PhD. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you. Hello? Thank you. So I was talking about the purpose roadmap. So the first hurdle I needed to get through in that purpose roadmap was to get that PhD. And then everything else would follow. So I was kind of stuck. So I remember this one meeting where she gave me tips of how to write. How can you get through the writing with the dissertation? So that's the first thing. It gave me, the One Planet Fellowship gave me a mentor. The other thing that the One Planet did for me is that every quarter we needed to write progress reports. And that for me was a difficult exercise because I didn't have much to report. But it served as a motivation to get up and try again so that the next time I could have something to report. So that really helped me. The third thing that helped me was going for those meetings. For me, the story was the same. I was writing my thesis and I was going to submit. But I didn't really believe it myself. But here I was at these meetings, meeting young people, vibrant young people that were determined to change the world. And they really inspired me. And I thought they had it all figured out, you know. But upon closer interaction, I remember I talked to Johnson, I talked to Molly. I realized that their struggles were my struggles, but they were forging ahead. So that really inspired me. So I remember during the Leopard meeting in Mombasa, I was determined to get that work out. So what I would do is we would go into the sessions the whole day, then would have dinner at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. But then I skipped that dinner. I would go to my room at 6, sleep, and wake up at 2 a.m. But the end of that 5 to 7 days, I had my first full draft of my thesis. And I remember when I sent it to my supervisor, his response was, so there is a light at the end of the tunnel after all. Yeah, so I worked through it, and in December 2023, I finally graduated a PhD. With a PhD in post-harvest physiology or plant biology from Cornell University. And I chose to share this bit about my life to inspire someone. The messages tonight have been the same through the stories that have been shared. They've been of resilience, not giving up on your dreams, because life is not that straightforward. Things will be thrown at you, but giving up should never be an option for any of you. Whatever journey you're on, it might be in that PhD, in that research, or whatever it is, the only way we can change the world is by not giving up. And also, we have a responsibility, because not many of our small farmers, men and women, have had the opportunities that we have had. So they are looking up to us, and so we should not give up. And from sharing my story, the take home for me is, or something I would like to share with you is, as you go through whatever journey you are going through, you'll be met with many bumps. For me, what helped is to share my dreams with people that cared about me. Share your dream with people that care about you. It could be your parents, your spouse, your sister, your mentor. And in those times when you're not able to carry yourself along, they'll be there to carry you along. Thank you.
Say the last sentence again. Share your dreams
with people that care about you.
So I would like her mentor to stand up, because you carried... Could we have the house lights on? Yeah. Please come and join us. Share your dreams with people who care about you, because when you're not able to carry yourself, they will carry you. As she comes up, I'd like all the mentors who are in the room to stand up, because you have carried the dreams of those who are not able to carry themselves. And we'd like to applaud you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm round of applause for the mentors in the room. Thank you. Thank you all very much. The role you play is beyond academic. You touch the lives of families and communities by what you do. Thank you very much. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our evening of storytelling, of music, of celebration, of remembering and reminding ourselves that we are one planet. In the 10 years that Dawn and I have been doing storytelling through our platform, Engage, go to YouTube, look for Engage Talk. We started this because we still believe, that the most impactful stories we have had are from people who look like us, who have experiences like ours, similar to the stories you have had today from people who, for those who've done PhDs, who are doing PhDs, these are your stories. But the stories we hear on the continent, especially, are stories of politicians and clergy. They're not the most inspiring. And today is a confirmation that we need to keep hearing stories from people like us. Our encouragement to you is tell your story. When we first met, most of them were saying, I don't even have a story. I don't know why Doreen picked me. Did you hear Anand's story today? So for all of you, tell your stories. Tell them again, because you do not know who's sitting somewhere at the verge of giving up, frustrated, unsure, and they just need to hear from you that you walked through it, or that you took a different path, that you thought you'd be a pilot and then ended up as a researcher, and it is okay. Don?
I just want to say good night to everybody. It was a fantastic evening. Thank you for being here, everyone. And when you travel back home, travel safely and enjoy the rest of your stay. Have a good night.
Have a good day tomorrow as well. Good evening. Do we have the speakers come up for a photograph?
Hi,